So imagine you could be like on a 22nd floor, like of a building, and then legit have a landing freaking on life. It's real. It's real. Look it up.
I get that, but I'm not waiting for my Uber on the 22nd floor and just walk out. Newton's law still applies, man. Like, come on.
You lost me at 22nd. I was like, I ain't opening the window.
This is the Stxhes Podcast. Everybody, thank you so much for coming in. We've got Brandon, Philip, Gene, Dwayno, and myself, Donnie. Thanks for tuning in.
You're like, I can't take this shit no more. I'm out. Like, okay. You was out for the weekend, right?
points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 2 turnovers. We win the game. That's how it is.
I see folks like, oh man, that's old folks stuff. I'm like, damn, am I getting old? Like, he watched.
I'm damn near a gangster in real life, you know what I'm saying? But no.
It's been.
Yeah, you never know. Go ahead, man. Since Cam was born.
No, yeah, I was saying ever since Cam was born, it's just like, man, the whole perspective has changed. And it's like, yeah, I know I'm second now, or actually third, but not even third. I guess put yourself fourth now, because it's, the kid, well, Jackie and the kids and then myself. But now just seeing everything in a different light, different perspective. It's like everything I do, every move I make, every step I take is not for me anymore. So and that's it was an eye opener. So I know, like, I didn't do it intentionally, but backing away from social media, and I know I've touched on it before, but not engaging in that per se. Like, I was on it here and there, but I know at one point, it was a daily thing, and it's just like, now I look back on it between like Netflix and like Hulu and social media. I'm like, how do people have time to do this stuff?
Yeah.
So that's why I admire you setting up the systems and automate and have it set up, and then there's no excuse. You do one day of playing or whatever it may be, and then fire them all out. But now I'm trying to get back into the gym. And we got to alternate. Like, she'll go at 4, I'll go at 5, and then come back and make sure the kids are good and off for the day and stuff like that. And it's just, life is different, man. But
y'all ever go through?
What's up, man?
What's up, family? Look,
he snuck in the back door, man. I didn't even get an alert. He was in the room.
It's all good, man. It sounded like a deep conversation. Can y'all hear me clearly?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, it sounded like you were saying something deep, man. So I was gonna say something, and I was like, yo, hold on, let me listen. Like, you know what I mean? It sounded impactful. So I was just like, yo.
I mean, you can relate, Phil. I mean, you'll be there come June, early July. Like, you'll understand. Like, your life changes at that point when you have your seed, and gee, like, how, that's what I was talking about, like how the impact of having a child like changed my whole perspective, my whole outlook, and the way I move, the way I shake, and everything like that. It's like, it's not for me.
Nothing like it.
You put yourself secondary.
There's nothing like it, dude. Like, not a relationship, nothing. Like, there's nothing like what a seed will do to you. So funny today, and it's in many different things. Like, yes, like Dwayno's saying, man, like, you really are like second. Like, you're there's no selfish, you're selfless. Like, you have to, everything is about them. Every single waking moment is about them. And I know that having my little dude changed me. Like, I never would have. I always looked for my dude to be my saving grace. I always say that he's my saving grace. Like, he's my saving grace, because even in a relationship, even with everything in life, nothing could really change me like having my little man change me. Like, I don't know, like, even with the pandemic, like, I became so much more of a homebody, especially because of him. Like, I just wanted to be around him at all times, as much time as I could spend with him. I cut off any other extracurricular activity that wasn't profiting me, just so I could just be there with him. And you'll see, even when you have to go to work, and then with them little, and Dwayno, I know he could attest to that. Like, at least for me, like, there's a bond that you try to build with them too. Like I would leave at work for work in the mornings, and this dude would get used to like me leaving, and then and he didn't like it, and then there were points where, dude, I swear to goodness, I'd come home, and that could just be his personality. I'd come home, and it's almost like I was a stranger coming home, like like he wouldn't even really pay me much mind, because he's home with his moms or whatever. And then, COVID, like I had the opportunity to kind of be home more, and then we grew closer. And then it made me not want to leave home much at all. Like it made me want to just be home every day so I could cut the corner and see him smiling, or, and then the other thing that it does is that their pain becomes your pain. Like it's so weird. Like there's moms that have the attachment, I'm telling you, but when you see your kid in pain or something, like just today we took him to ear, nose, and throat doctor, and they put in a little stick down his throat to check his, and he's screaming, dude. I wanted to punch the doctor in the face, dude. I swear to goodness, I put it on my life. Like I had this overwhelming emotion that just made me want to get violent because my son was in pain. Like it's just because, you know what I mean? And of course I wouldn't do that. It's just that you just feel this, like you get this courage that you may have not even had before. If you thought you were tough before, like your child gives you extra strength. And yeah, but like Dwayne was saying, man, it's just, dude, the people would say it. I could never understand. You understand, we're understanding it, but it's just still, no matter what people tell you, and like, it's just when they're finally here, when your little guy or girl is here, yeah, man, everything's about them, dude. Everything is about them.
Yeah. Phil, are y'all gonna do a gender reveal, or are y'all gonna know, plan it out in advance? What y'all gonna do?
I don't know if we know the gender. We got she was at work and she was like, I got a voicemail from the gender, and should I listen to it or I'm gonna wait till you get home? And I was like, at the time, yeah, I wanted to know, but I'm like, I want to know if the doctor's calling you for something. Like you need to like, figure that out. But I got back to the house and she had called the doctor and was like, can you call us and leave the gender in the voicemail? And we just got back and found out the news. So we're supposed to be doing something probably like the past like week and a half. We keep coming up with like different things. Like let's take a picture here. Let's do this. Let's do this. We just haven't done it yet. That's the only thing that's holding us back.
Boy, release that track,
to
man.
release to the world.
What's that?
Release that track.
Oh, you got a track?
I don't have a track. He's just talking about the gender.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Put it on wax. Well, kids don't put it on wax anymore.
You could do that. I know, right? But you could totally, yeah, dude. That's
how you release it.
Or yeah, like make it. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be cool. But dude, I'll say one thing. Like you seen in that video, if you did watch the video, I mean, I try to just document everything as much as I can. Yeah, just documenting every single moment that you can, dude. And that's because one day, man, that's really all you're gonna have like that. Like so. Yeah,
it's wild that you say that, man. Because when I was watching, that's what I was like, yeah, he's like, he got all the footage. And I remember like, Phil, when we go up to grandma's, she would pull out the tapes. And it was literally somebody either had it on a tripod or was actually holding it, but the big, like usually it was Uncle Bud, but holding the big camcorder. I'm just like, that's how everything was recorded back then. And it'd be like the most random like cookouts, like it would just be sitting in the back, like huh? Just recording everything. That's now we got, a whole digital system or, production studio in the palm of our hand. And I like, after watching that, I was like, man, I definitely got to record more. Yeah. Because you can't,
yeah.
The way my memory is getting, man, I feel like I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
That's right.
Today.
Right. Yeah. And that's the other thing parenthood does to you, man. You think, you think they say weed impairs your memory. No, becoming a parent impairs your memory. Because, dude, like whether it be sleepless nights, whether it be you just busy, and you start being forgetful. Like it really happens like that, man. Yeah, it's another thing too, man. So yeah, like
documenting. That's a sigh of relief for me, man, because I thought I was like, man, am I getting old? Like what's going on? I'm trying to figure out what it is. But it's a lack of film. It's a lack of sleep.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like I said, the emotions behind it and putting everybody else first. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world, though. I'll tell you that much.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Not at all, man. But you guys were touching on another point too, man. Like something about social media, and it was so funny because I remember today I was looking at my phone. I was looking at because I was trying to go back and listen to a beat that I'd been working with, and then I looked at my history and I was trying to get to the beat, and I was like, man, look how much I crap, if you will, but like so much content that you consume. Like if you know what I mean, like you take and this could be like in a half hour span. And then, because sometimes I get sidetracked and I'm like, okay, I'm following this funny dude, and a lot of my stuff is like comedy stuff or some, like whatever tedious things, some gun stuff, whatever, like just whatever random thing that just happens to pique my, it could be yay information, news or something. And then I go back and I'm looking at history, trying to get back to my beat. I'm like, man, I just watched like all this stuff. Like you know what I mean? You just absorb all this extra. So like Dueno was saying, like I don't know how people, and then I catch myself and I'm like, yo, I can't do this. I can't just be sitting here absorbing this like worthless content. Like it really is. Like, it's not benefiting me at all. And like you said, I have people like they'll be sending me like TikTok stuff, and because I recently just got on the TikTok wave, and then they're sending me stuff. I'm like, but people really will sit there and just like watch the stuff all day. And I'm like, how can you do that? But people do it, and they just absorb it.
Yeah, you got to be hip to what's going on to a degree. It's funny, I had that conversation with my dad earlier today. It's like, yeah, I remember when I got him a cell phone or a iPhone. He was like, man, I don't want this. Like, why do I need a smartphone? All I need to do is make calls. Phil, you can attest to it. Like this guy is on the phone more than I am. I'm just like like sending like pictures and whatever it may be. Like that's the funniest part. Like you like for example, he went to a grocery store. He went to, I think it was like Whole Foods or Harris Teeter. Suckered him in, gave him their email address, and then he'll get the weekly ads, and he'll just like forward it out like it's like exclusive content, like like salmon's on sale. Like okay, but nah, it's wild. Like just how quickly technology has evolved just in our lifetime. We touched on it last time, but like you're saying that you're on TikTok for whatever it may be 10 minutes or Instagram for 10 minutes, but like how much content are you actually consuming in a minute, right? Like how many scrolls, how many videos? Like if video is 10 seconds, that's 10 videos of whatever content that you could have been, so it's like it's just a mashup of everything. But trying to scrub through that and like they say you're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with, right? But then if you add in social media, like what kind of content are you consuming? So is that the 6 person, 6, 7 to 100 person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a love-hate thing.
It is, but I feel like, and I don't feel like it's bad. I feel like what's bad is like if you're consuming content that's like, again, if I felt like at that point, I'm like, if I watched those 10 videos, I could have been watching 10 videos about real estate or money management or NFTs or, or something that's, you know what I mean? Because there is that, but so it's just about it's not about necessarily how much you consume, but it's about what you consume. I feel like if there's, and you know what I mean? So I think that's a factor too.
It is, because like I'm on YouTube. Like as soon as I get home, the first thing I turn on is YouTube. Like I may not even go to Netflix unless it's gonna be me and Jackie chilling, because now it's like the algorithm like knows me so well that like I'll go straight through it, and I'm like the topics that I want to know about, I get to study every day if I choose to. And it's almost like there's something that comes up on like NFTs or something that I want to learn about, but I'm not in the frame of mind to take it in. I'll just click save to watch later. And then when I get to a point that I sit down and I got some time, like I actually want to watch something, I jump over there and it's everything pulled up, But like if I'm on Netflix, what stops you from watching the whole season? Like without having commercials and stuff like that, it's like, do you want to keep going? Yeah, let me on a cliffhanger. I'm gonna keep going for the next couple of hours.
Yeah. Are you still watching? Like, fool. That turn you off?
It is about the content though, because I find myself like getting inspired by my YouTube timeline. Like the guys that are talking about the new Solana projects that are coming up. I wasn't planning on investing anything in Solana, but he just brought up this play to earn game that now I got to get up and I go over to the work side of the basement. I go over and sit at the computer and let me do some research on it. But it's still all information that's going to be helpful in some degree, because then you still got like the motivational speakers and stuff. If I get on Gary V, then it'll bring up other suggested people that's like that. So I think I said it on here before that I stopped watching the Joe Budden podcast just because it was like, it just fed that VH1 drama to me. It's like, what's he going to say? It's entertainment, but it's like, it's a guilty pleasure that wasn't necessary. Now my guilty pleasure would be T Grizzly playing Grand Theft Auto. Because I can jump into that. I don't care where they are, whatever. It's just like a regular day. But anything that gets me like stuck in, like I really don't have too many TV shows that I'm like, I got to wait for the next episode to come out. Yeah. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
Did you see 85 South show with Wall Street Trapper?
No. I haven't seen it. I think Brandon was talking about that at one point.
Yeah, he went on the show and he was just doing what he typically does on social media and everything, just like spitting game about stocks and everything. And he started talking about the land that he bought in the metaverse and everything. So I was like, but the more he was talking, he's like, if you're sitting around watching TV all day or playing video games on social media or whatever, wouldn't it be more fun to be in the metaverse at that time anyway? Like, we're already secluded from everybody. We're already spending all this time doing this stuff. But it's like, if you had the option to just put the glasses on and go into the metaverse and you're actually chilling there with like real people, real avatars, and being able to travel around and stuff, it's like, it seems like it's just going to transition a lot easier than we thought when they first started talking about it. Like, I know I'm about to.
So to enter, quote unquote, the metaverse, like you have to have VR access, right?
Mm.
You know, if you break it down to the basics, you know, we're still, well, it's not as prominent, but I know it's still an issue, but like just water in Flint, Michigan, right? Like the access that the basic necessities that you would need to access the metaverse. Like, can we really hop, skip, and jump? Because like you get the Oculus, what's the Oculus? Like $300?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been out, what, a couple years now? Like, so what's the timeline for that? Is it really like, are we transitioning to all meetings going to be, you know, in the metaverse and things like that? So, and you're saying like, why not jump in the metaverse and talk to another avatar or engage in another avatar? What's stopping us from doing that in the present now?
It's just not as, you can do it currently. Like you can jump in and I think it was like Paris Hilton had her own like AI world for her fan base years ago.
No, I'm not talking about the alternative universe. I'm talking about the physicality of it. We're talking about like Zoom meetings now being the new norm, but like, why can't we pick up the phone call? Why can't we, like, you ever had, or did you ever, you know, when you're younger, just, well, going to grandma's, like, you just pop up. It wasn't announced. Like, people actually stopped by your house and engaged with you and stuff like that. Now it's like, please don't come to my house unless you call me or at least text me, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's that level of engagement that I'm trying to get at. It's like, okay, how can we interact to that degree in a different alternative space when we can't do that to that same degree now? You know, everything is distant. Like, oh, I can put something on a podcast. But like, if there's 100 people in the same room, are we going to still have that same type of conversation? Same type of engagement? I don't know. I don't have the answer to it, but I just know, like, I don't know if it's going to be a phase or if it's here to stay. I know the AI piece to it, but I don't know. Who knows? Well, like I said, you know,
looks like it's like everyone is going that route because it's like it's gonna be there if we want to use it or not, type of a thing. And it feels like it's at that like exponential rate of like even in like the NFT world and stuff, like when it comes to how many projects are coming out and minting every single day. Now it used to be every project would come out and it was immediately sold out. Now there's 15 projects that all look promising, all coming out the same day, and their mint is taking days, if not cutting it halfway and burning collections and stuff like that. And they just had the biggest month of all time when it came to NFT sales, January. So it's so many new people entering the space and all, but it's like that FOMO, that fear of missing out and stuff like that, that's still going to drive you in there. And then it's like a little bit closer to actually talking to real people, but you're in the metaverse in the world that you want to be in. So it's like you're going out on going to Dave and Buster's tonight. Except you don't have to leave your house. You don't have to actually get dressed up. Like we doing Zoom meetings with shirt and tie on just up top.
Yeah.
You know, people with shorts on underneath and
This
stuff
is
like
up top, partying on bottom. No, so my good buddy said he has an Oculus, my college roommate, and he's like, man, you gotta get it, man. I was at the game with my buddy. You know, obviously he wasn't in the same room. It was like, yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I can imagine it, I can see it, but until the actual access to it, because the cost of entry to the metaverse, and I don't know all the ins and outs. Like, is it only VR glasses that you can, get access to metaverse, right? But like, our future laptops going to be the 3D, or tablets and stuff like that. But also just seeing the equipment itself. Like, I don't feel like it's going to be comfortable. I haven't played with an Oculus, but you have something that's sticking out, 4 inches, and I'm sure it's probably kind of heavy. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm excited for change and things like that, but I don't know.
It's early on for how quickly it's growing. But like, yeah, I mean, my big thing is I really don't like the idea of putting something around my face and like now I don't know who else is in the room with me and I look stupid. Like, if somebody sneak up on me or something, like that's my only issue is like taking away the senses. But I saw that they had already made like gloves that you could put on, and if in the video game I'm touching the desk, it feels the pressure goes on the pressure points in your fingers and it feels like you're actually touching something. So you already know it's gonna go. You already know the OnlyFans and porn world is gonna go crazy for it. So if that's gonna be lucrative, we're gonna get there anyway. You know, like it's too much money involved. Like the dude Wall Street tried, he was talking about buying land in like in Sandbox. Like he got the spot right next to Atari. And I think he got one like next to like Nike or something like that. And obviously they're comedians, they're laughing about it. It's like, oh, you got this block. And he's like, well, you got to think it's like the Times Square of the metaverse. That's where how many people are going to pass by the store and I can get them wearing my metaverse gear, my clothing line. I can get exclusive drops there and stuff. Like, it's true. You probably spent 50K, 100K or something like that on that spot, but it's probably gonna, and in 5 years, how much is that spot gonna be worth? Right next to all the Fortune 500 companies.
So how does that work? It's like, okay, you go into the metaverse and you're saying Sandbox is like Times Square or DC or?
He's talking like where he got his spot. Like, so there's plenty of like a metaverse is like that. It's that planet, that city, but yeah, like that city basically. You're going to this metaverse, so that the style of that metaverse may be like Sandbox is like the what is that game? Like not Minecraft. Is Minecraft the game with all the little block figures? Like the number one
Roblox.
Yeah, it's like the number one selling game in the world or whatever. But you may have a metaverse that's completely like that. Or you may go to a metaverse that's completely based in the jungle or whatever it is. They keep spawning up and people are creating more, but there's going to be the most popular ones that's got the most people in it. And it's going to be like a Sandbox type of place. So everything's going to be based in that area. You got millions and millions of people from around the world that's able to go into it. So it's able to take a small brand and make it global if they're going to be going right next to you, going to the Xbox store or going wherever. You're just literally walking around like the Sims in this world, and you're still going to be stopping by places. That's what one of the NFT projects I was looking at was billboards. And it seems like a crazy idea, but I'm like, if I mint this, I get a random billboard. I could get the biggest one, the number one spot in this entire metaverse. And when you click on it, it goes straight to the AKA store or whatever. So, I mean, it's a lot of opportunity there. It's just getting in on the right project because the NFT world is like the wild, wild west. Like there's been so many rugs of projects that come out. Everything looks good. This is going to be a high seller. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the mint finishes populating, they delete all their accounts, take the money and run. Mm-hmm. And who do you call when it's on the blockchain? Like that's the problem with it not being a centralized system. It's still a crapshoot. I've gotten into a few good projects, but I almost got into one that was a complete rug, and I just jumped into their Discord, and everybody was just losing it because you ain't gonna get a refund.
Yeah.
Like, who you gonna get it from?
Yeah. No, we'll definitely see what comes about it. To be interesting. I mean, when you see, big name companies, banks and stuff like that, tying into crypto and blockchain and stuff like that, it's a sign that it's coming. But how long has the traditional bank been around? So how long is that going to take?
Definitely not suggesting put your life savings into crypto right now.
No, by no means. Yeah, this is not an investment show. Anybody watching or listening?
Do your own research.
Please. Yeah. Ally Financial, cut the check.
I gotta talk to you about I got the LLC officially finalized and everything at the end of January. So now I'm just trying to make sure I got all my legal documents and the spam calls and all that stuff, trying to make sure I got everything right. I gotta link up with you and get the ins and outs. How long have you had the LLC?
Which one?
Oh, you got multiple LLCs?
Got to, man. And I'm not boasting or bragging, but it's an opportunity to try and protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have, AKA major, and have that as the umbrella, and then have other LLCs under that umbrella. Or, in the real estate world, you can buy an investment property and put that in an LLC. There's a reason why the big names like, oh, that person owns that, but you would hear it's AKA holdings. But then you have to dig down, and you heard of offshore accounts and stuff like that, blank on it. But they're shelter companies. They protect the individuals. So yeah, there's a reason why the wealthy stay wealthy, and you don't know who owns what. So, and then you have a business, and that's also an advantage. Write off a little more.
And now it's like getting a business account and starting a credit line and everything for the business. I think it's tough to get accurate information because it's like an online based business, and like there's certain the sales tax exclusions and stuff like that when someone's buying it, and I'm not personally manufacturing it and all. So it's like I just don't want tax time to come around and be like, oh no, you owe 50 grand because you didn't sign the right documents and stuff like that. So I'm definitely trying to meet up with them.
Yeah.
How many LLCs do you have now?
Just 3, I think. Yeah. Right now. A lot in the works. I was actually talking to Gene offline, trying to get access to the capital to continue to expand the real estate empire. And that's the goal, man. That's another thing with having your own little one. Like, dang, every move I make today is going to affect the rest of my family and future generations. So, yeah, man. Where'd Gene go?
Was he not on with it being on the cell phone, I can't see everybody. So is it just
us 3? And Gene wrote out. So you swipe left or right, it'll show
yeah,
the other camera.
Oh, there you go. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
One of these days we'll figure out what day works out the best for everybody. I don't know how to do this. I had a list of questions and everything, trying to produce it so we actually get it down to a structured show. Well, all the Spotify episodes are up, so we got 8 of those. I was trying to get down to send over the finished version.
Well, I don't know, man. We might have to change platforms. I don't know. It might be on the decline now without all the publicity and everything like that.
We can change it up, man. I'm actually trying to, even when it comes like the Zoom platform, I feel like we can probably do Discord, our own Discord, and I don't think it would interrupt voices and stuff. but I gotta look.
I think we could do that just to start opening up the, you know, you want to put the cart in front of the horse, but to start opening it up to everybody else, you know, gain that traction, because we give them access to us. Like, oh man, you know, chatting with them, but then they tell a friend who tells a friend, you know, like I get stuff like, oh man, I've been listening to the show, checking it out. Like, oh shoot, like that's awesome. Like you didn't tell me till just now, but you know, so it is cool to hear that. But as we continue to grow, but I think at this point in time, this would be an opportunity to, okay, a new episode, but go to Stxhes.com. Boom. Yeah. YouTube is, you know, one of the biggest marketing channels out there, if not the biggest. I think actually they may be the biggest. But like branded all the way through. It could still be a YouTube link to listen to it, or a streaming platform to listen to the podcast, but go to the site here, bam, 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 bam. Boom. And next to that, you have the store, you have the, you know, whatever else it may be. But I think on the next production meeting, I think we should talk about that aspect to it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because even like my boy hit me up about it. He was like, man, you guys should jump into Clubhouse. Like, there's a lot of people who would love to have this conversation with you. Like, I've never done Clubhouse, but you know, I just got in the Discord because of the NFT side. But the more I started watching videos, like these dudes are making professional looking videos, and that's how they're doing video games and stuff like that. And then my boy, the Twitch streamer, we were talking, and he was just like, yeah, I mean, if you guys did a game or something, you can do Facebook Live, Twitch Live, Twitch, YouTube Live. There's so many different channels now. Just jump on a Discord channel. Even the kids at work, like all the dudes that are in the field, they're sending around pictures to each other and everything. And I'm like, I felt so old. That's such an easy method right there.
And that's the crazy thing. It's like all of this is just getting started. And it could even, if you think about it, we could start our own platform. You know, it's the possibilities are endless.
I follow Kev on Stage Studios, and the fact that he built up his own app and went on his funded his own tour and everything, and now dude sitting on money, you know. But he started up his own Kev on Stage, it's like the KOS app, and all the content's licensed through him. All the comedians get a platform they can put it on and stuff, and I just go straight through it. It's like its own black Netflix. You know, it's like then the opportunities there, that thing could blow up, but what's stopping anybody from making their own platform?
Yeah. True story. But then it's, you know, if everybody has their platform, you know,
who's watching?
Gotta have, right. And that's the thing too, you know, it made me think about it in terms of the metaverse. If everybody's in the metaverse, like who's working? You know what I mean? Like how does that, like, can you get a digital job? Like, like
you can could definitely, like, you could own a store in the metaverse, like selling sneakers, you could sell real estate, you could, like, you know, it's you could do a lot with that, man.
I think
but it's expensive.
Like Nike or Adidas, I mean, real estate, I mean, if you got into that, and you can create your own projects and stuff like that too, but like, I think it was either Nike or Adidas hired one of the guys that bought up their NFTs and brought him on to like the creative side, because if you own enough, it's the same thing as like stocks. Like if you went out and bought all these Google stocks and the majority owner, you can sit in on those meetings. Like your decisions actually make a difference. They hire people out of the Discord regularly. Like the one project was looking for a social media manager and a marketer and stuff like that. You never leave home. I think a Ready Player One, that movie Ready Player One, everybody's just like in a trailer, and they got the whole room is set up for him to be in this other world. And in that other world, it's more lifelike than your actual real life. Because then outside, like all the trailers are like stacked up on top of each other, and outside just looks like a desert. Like there's nothing else going on. The environment's destroyed and everything, and that's. I mean, it's kind of on the path that way we're going. So I don't know if we'll see that.
I think at the end, I think it's still, and I'm kind of, you know, with Dueno, like in a sense of, I'm not saying you're skeptical. I'm saying, and you know, I think we were talking about that. Like, there's no actual, nothing's really tangible. You know what I mean? Like say for example, You know, it goes to show you how crazy it is. Remember, just not too long ago, it was just like a few days ago, really it was. Mark Zuckerberg lost what, like like something like billions of
20
dollars.
billion or something like yeah, something crazy.
Insane, right? Because of like it's all in like in how like because people were riding the emotion. All of a sudden they're like, oh, something triggered them to kind of sell off and not be as into it, and then the money. But there's nothing tangible. Like he didn't lose it off of anything like real. It was just off of it's just crazy. It's like virtual. He's really making this money off things that are not even. It's not real. Like if I told you I own a sneaker collection on Metaverse that I wanted to sell, like I don't literally physically own it. Like it's crazy. Like you know what I mean? And it's even with the NFTs, it's the same thing. So as much as I'm into this stuff, I ride that wave because I know that again we all are going off emotion and all these different things. But dude, it's just so weird that that we're into this stuff. Like it's just very weird to me, I'm with it. I'm get it. I'm studying it because I'm like you said, I know it's the future. I'm still investing in crypto a little bit, here and there, because I know it's not going to be for me. It'll be for my little man in the future. Because I don't think I'll, unless it does kick off and I make some chips, but it's nothing's really tangible, man. Like it's a weird thing. So funny. And then there was this whole thing like the other day, this couple like in New York or something like that got arrested. And right,
rapping and stealing Bitcoin.
Yeah, 3.6 billion dollars in Bitcoin was seized, and that's what they seized. Not how much they probably got over the course of however long they were doing what they were doing. How do you steal 3.6 billion? And it goes to show you again. It's what this digital. How do you what? Like make it make sense to me how this even happened. Like. You know what I mean?
Give me a Billy. You ain't never gonna see me.
Right?
Why would I post on TikTok? I saw a video on Twitter. They like the chick literally said, like one of the questions popped up was like, "Have you ever stolen Bitcoin?" And she was like, "Yes, I have." And it was the same one. It's just like,
oh, good. But yeah, and that's why they're having trouble regulating this stuff because it's hard to. You know what I mean? It's because there's nothing really tangible. Like you own this stuff. I mean, but you don't have anything. It's not like they came and actually got $3.6 billion in their home. They just took the digital, like North Korea. And I gotta be careful when I'm talking about these heads. This is just news. This is news. Like they steal crypto to fund their So you mean some of these dudes are stealing digital currency to fund nuclear and arsenal and do all this crazy stuff with something that's not even a real tangible monetary thing. Like it's weird that we can do this stuff now, and then all these loopholes. So it's hard for them to kind of like back the stuff like the NFTs and the crypto, like, and some people just riding on the wave because they feel like digital currency will be a thing in the future. And I feel like it is going to be that, but it's just how do you stop people from doing what things like those couples are doing?
And that's why we need to start a revolution, man. Like we're gonna reach out to Tom and MySpace. We're gonna, like Comcast, man, we're going back to dial up. Like we're just gonna,
right.
Take it back to the old days. Our old days are like, pre-internet. It's crazy to think that, but
yeah.
And that was part of me like being anti-social media in the sense that like it didn't feel right. Like it's like you're saying, it's not tangible. It's like, yeah, you're checking in with somebody, but are you really checking in? If you can't tell by their emotions or hear the joy in their voice or the sorrow, you can put anything online, but is that really you?
Well, in the metaverse, it'd be tougher. You'd probably get closer to what's really going on if you're walking around next to somebody's avatar. Like that's more than a screenshot and a caption. Like it's gonna be a lot tougher to hide those things when like if you saw the video on like the Nets game where you actually sitting courtside, like you were saying, like your boy going to the game with his like that's probably closer than you're ever gonna get to actually hanging out with your boy in California. And you actually get the chance to sit next to him and talk. So I look forward to the opportunity to next to a UFC fight. Or if they can put the camera on the referee's chest and let me watch it like I'm an actual referee or something like that. Like, you'd actually be able to spend more time with people, and you're probably going to be more willing to jump in and actually hang out with somebody that you wouldn't actually spend that time with in person.
No, I agree with that point, because if you look at the gaming, industry, right? Like how many gamers are online, but how many gamers also are buddies with one another, but never met each other in person. So I get that to the degree, but it's like if you're saying somebody is walking around in the metaverse and you can see that emotion, like I'm envisioning, like, are they walking around with AR glasses and then literally sulking in the metaverse? Is that what you're saying?
Know. At some point,
I gotta do more research on that piece, but
it's like at some point, it's like even when you look at like PlayStation and everything and how realistic they get the games to look like a Call of Duty character or something. It's like I don't know if it's gonna get to the point where you're doing full body scans or you're creating an avatar that looks like you like a Wii character. Like I just don't know what that's gonna look. I haven't jumped in. I've watched a few people playing games, but it's like they're doing a safari or they're riding a roller coaster or something like that. So it's like it hasn't really scratched the surface of where it's actually going to be able to go. So I don't know. And a lot of the projects that I'm invested in, it's like play to earn games that you do on like a desktop computer. So it's not even in the metaverse. But they're talking about in the next year, they got a game that's actually going to be in the metaverse. So it's like, it's still so early on.
yeah, and I think it was it Ubisoft or Activision that was talking about having like NFTs. So I think it was Ubisoft, but like with the acquisition with Microsoft and Activision, I mean that seems to be like the perfect space to launch all this stuff, in the gaming world. But no, I'm curious to see how it pans out.
What are your thoughts, Don?
I love this conversation. Like there's been so many movies 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago that have already broached this subject like in depth. And the first one that comes to mind is that Bruce Willis movie that was out maybe 10 years ago, a little bit more, called Surrogates. It's an awesome movie, and it's basically the metaverse right back there. It's people that don't leave their apartments, and they're literally attached to their VR devices, whatever it may be. I can't remember all the details of the ins and outs, but you feel, you think, everything is in this other world through this platform. That's how you interact with people. It's no longer a physical, like molecular type of a situation anymore. It's all digital. People are who they want to be, and they live their whole life there. It's the natural thing, and he's starting to break away from it. Like it's the whole idea of breaking away from it and realizing there's still a world out there. It's an awesome movie. WALL-E, it was getting close to that same thing. They used a lot of Jetsons technology and all that. And he moved off Earth. I mean, it's a lot of futuristic thought, but it's not that far away. It really isn't. And there's so many people that are isolating themselves even before this technology is even thought out. I mean, the ability to order food and not have to interact with people, the ability to pay all your bills, not interact with people. So work from home was a huge step in that direction. And a lot of businesses and a lot of industries push that kind of stuff now. They realize the savings monetarily they got from it, as well as not having to own a brick and mortar building to house all these people. And they have to pay for a lot less technology. I mean, the servers are in the cloud. They don't have to maintain those servers. Somebody else does. All that information's out there. They don't have to deal with it. It's closer than we even realized. It's almost kind of scary.
At the same token, you're right, but like, kind of like, I don't know if you're feeling that same way too, Dwayne, but it's like, is it necessarily a good thing though? Like to the front, like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is that really a good thing?
Yeah, you seen iRobot, but with Tesla coming out with their robot, I feel like they're ahead of the curve. But it is a scary thing. Imagine you go into the store and it is a robot, like greeting you, serving you, or whatever, assisting you, whatever it may be. Yeah. And you look at the robot the wrong way, he's square up with you, and it's like, come on.
And you're right. And this whole AI thing is real. Like AI is like it's just, yeah, because you imagine like you got like countries like China building supercomputers, and we build them too, right? And then so not only do we do this, but they're primarily using these for like, because they got think tanks, they got AI technology, so they have these supercomputers that can create like, again, like missiles and defenses or ways to calculate so that you can't beat it or defend against it and so forth. And then there's the AI technology where you imagine like us sitting and absorbing all this content on YouTube. And then we could forget about maybe half of what we see. But you feed that into artificial intelligence and it doesn't forget
forget nothing. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Crazy.
And then so I remember having, this conversation with wifey, and then we're talking about like, she's like, they don't know emotion, but I'm like, but you take every word that correlates to emotion, you take different pictures and videos and different things and you put them together, and that thing now it knows how to
understand how to respond.
Yeah.
And then Phil was touching on it earlier, the algorithm, that's what it is. You have the algorithm. If somebody hears the word love, or the robot hears the word love or tender or whatever it may be, it's like, okay, these are all associated with this kind of output.
Yeah.
It's
recently they
not
were
like
talking
that. Saying it's good. I think it's closer than what we
Mm-hmm.
think. It's wild to think that the Jetsons were, back in the day. It's like they were so far ahead of the game.
Yeah. And
I mean,
they
when
just
you
came up.
AI though, like, to be funny, but not to be funny. Like the whole idea of the Age of Ultron and the with the Avengers or whatever. Yeah, haha, it's comic books, it's movie magic and all that. But think about it. If you invest that much time and effort into AI and the ability for a computer to develop other computers, what would be the point of us? We need to eat, sleep, and do all these different things. But if AI does all the functions that we need it to, what use would we have? For it to serve us?
But that's the thing. Now we can sit at home and have the robot go to work for us, and still
That's what
do
I'm
all
saying.
that stuff. Like it's like true story.
It's crazy, man. Absolutely.
So that's why you're gonna be working in the metaverse. That's why you ain't gonna be going to work.
See, like it comes full circle, right?
Yeah, it's like like my favorite animated movie is this movie called Nine, and it's technology ending up being the destruction of us. But they were able to put their consciousness into something else and carry it on. And they ended up carrying it on in these little dolls that he had put together. But it was basically dolls and all the robots that were made for war, and they ended up just nuking everybody. And they're the only things that were left. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to the point where technology is gonna end up being our demise. If it ain't the weather, it's gonna be technology. But it's like you might as well ride the wave while you can, because I ain't gonna be Will Smith and try and go to robots or anything like that. I'm not gonna have one at my house taking care of my baby. That's never gonna be the case. But my Roomba upstairs is nice. I'll tell you that, right? Convenience is everything. You really got convenience is everything. Walking into a grocery store and there's a robot there, it's the same thing as there just being a self-checkout line. If I'm going to McDonald's and a robot and it just a slot opens up and my burger and stuff comes out perfectly made based off of the analytics and based off of engineering. Yeah, I'd rather that. I just came home yesterday with my whole order messed up. That wouldn't happen if I just had to push the button. It's gonna I hate to say it, it's not like I want to get rid of positions for people, but you have to also evolve as a person too. See what that's the wave, then what's the next skill set that I'm going to try and pick up? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's going to become a position that just doesn't exist anymore.
But can you imagine, you go into a restaurant, they mess up your order, you go back there, yo, robot, I told you I ain't want cheese on my sandwich. I'm sorry, sir. We'll take that off.
Right. Yeah.
But you're talking about the movies and things like that from decades ago. One, I know there's technology that we're not even aware of, That's one thing. But like to have that mindset, to have that capacity to even formulate a movie or a show or an idea like that. Like Hanna-Barbera, like I don't understand how, or Walt Disney, whoever it may be, but like it's kind of wild to think that somebody has that mental capacity to think about things like this.
Yeah.
I mean, Walt Disney, I don't really give nearly as much credit because Walt Disney really like, let me come up with the copyright law, steal everybody's idea, and then not allow anybody to create it again. It's the craziest story, but like Walt Disney coming out with like Mickey and then stealing all these different like Simba instead of Kimba the White Lion. I'm gonna make it.
Well, see, I don't know. I don't know the true story. I'm gonna have to watch the unbanned.
Yeah, man. Like when I got into one of those wormholes on YouTube, and it was like 20 minutes long, and they just kept talking about each one of them. I'm like, wow, like all of the classic fairy tale, like Cinderellas and all those types of things. It was just stolen ideas. Like Kimba the White Lion is an African like folklore type of a movie, but it was like the exact same blueprint that they just brought over to the United States. And then after they made Mickey, copyright law, nobody could do anything. It wasn't, and then they bought Pixar. As soon as Pixar came out with like Monsters Inc. and stuff, they're like, "Oh, we can't compete with that. Buy them. We're gonna keep Pixar as Pixar." Bought ESPN. Like it's like they're a great business more than like creators. I still take my hat off to them,
but I mean, you got Steamboat Willie was that taken?
I mean,
that was like the first cartoon that came out with Mickey Mouse in like 1932 or something. And like to hear the story, I mean, and it makes me think like, okay, I got to do some more research on that too. But like, he was turned down by how many, producers or whatever it may be that said no to his idea. And look at it now; it's one of the biggest companies ever.
So. We helped out.
Kimba the White Lion. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's spot on. It is spot on, and that ended up taking off. And how many millions of dollars came out of it? Like we did a job for like, I don't know. It was like a relative of the family that made the Monopoly game, and it was that the house was ridiculous. Yeah, I was like, that was such. But looking back on it, it really was a timeless idea. Like even I still play Monopoly. I'll play it on Xbox, on N64. But like the concept of it is so relatable to real life that like they just come up with new versions of it every time something comes out. I mean, like the Big Bang Theory, Dragon Ball Z. I mean, like whatever it is, they keep printing money.
Yeah. Wow.
Timeless classic.
Yeah. That's a lot, man. That's
so what we got.
It won't be our generation, I don't feel like I said, but we'll get to maybe see the end of it. We'll be the old folks, sitting there talking about, we knew this was coming, but we on the way out,
I just don't think that's true, right? Like, because you think about the things that you did today and the amount of technology that you use today. When we were 13 years old, all of that would have sounded crazy. Like,
you say it sounded crazy?
Yeah, it would have sounded crazy. Like remember the days that we were printing out MapQuest directions, and God forbid there was construction or a detour. You're told that. I remember when I'm sending out text messages and having to count how many minutes and seconds and stuff I'm using in daytimes and weekends and playing the snake game on my cell phone and everything. And now it's like I got I'm on the call right now with multiple people in different states.
That's true.
And having a conversation with them openly. Like, we've seen so many changes in technology. It's crazy. Even like music production and everything. Like we still look at like Jay Dilla and all these dudes, like their original beats were classic. They were made that way because they didn't have the ability to do it a different way. And it was innovative and it's crazy, but it's like today's 13-year-old is making a beat in his basement right now that's 10 times as complex as anything that they could do, that they could imagine.
From a mobile device.
Remember my
Right.
brother's life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I remember
Yeah.
you talking about the directions, man. I remember my dad. We ride, and he had the big maps that you get from the gas station. He's like, yeah, man, find whatever city. A15. Like, oh shoot, okay, we got to navigate through it. Like, what in the world? Like, how did you operate like that? And now, like, I can't remember, how to get 5 blocks from here. It's just like,
That's true, man. That's true, bro.
and then you get in the neighborhood and you got to turn down the radio to see where you're going. Like, you ever done that before? Like, it doesn't even make any sense anymore.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah. I know the.
Oh man, y'all making me feel old.
I know, right?
I used to always think as a little kid, how did my dad figure out how to get from our place in Westminster down the county? And he always took the back way. So I'm like, I know on my GPS, if I take a right, they're gonna keep rerouting me. Like, how did y'all figure out how to get from Taylorsville to Westminster on all these backcountry little lanes and stuff like that back in the day? And then he just knows how to get to places without even looking it up. Like,
yeah.
Can you guys read maps?
I probably can't now.
I probably can't.
Like when I used to work for 1-800-GOT-JUNK, they literally just put me in a truck the first day and gave me a road map. I was like, in Baltimore City at that. Like, I was like, wait, there's no GPS. That was the last time I read a map, but nah.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it.
Yeah, when you get to that split tree, just make a left right there, and you good.
You know what I mean? That's right. I need landmarks.
Down the road on the right.
That's it.
Like, huh?
Give me landmarks. Oh, yeah. So it's crazy.
Don, what you doing, man? You writing another poem?
Nah, man, I'm
street lights. You was in the ride.
No, bro, you had a long day.
Oh my God, crazy day. No, glad to jump in with you guys real quick. I know it's the last few minutes, but it was cool a bit that I did get to hear.
Huh?
What I did get to hear was awesome, though. The future is now, man. Played out, but still true.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wait till these throwback parties. Like, yeah, everybody dressed in the 2020s. Like, like, huh?
That's true, yeah. Yeah, man, we in for a ride. But you're right, man. You know what? Like you said, if it's closer than we think, like you said, I'd be excited. You know, just like I said, not too long ago, they released one of the first, it's like a Voltron, one of the first flying cars or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually in production. Like, they got like legit basis for them, landing stations for these. And their concept, they're trying to start off with them being like taxis. Like, so they're like flying taxis. So, you know, you guys can look into that. This is like real stuff. Like, it's actually, you know, people are starting to be able to purchase them, and it's kind of crazy. So imagine you could be like on a 22nd floor, you know, like of a building, and then have a landing freaking on life. It's real. It's real. Look it up.
No, I get that, but I'm not waiting for my Uber on the 22nd floor just to walk out. Newton's law still applies, man. Like,
you lost me at 22nd. I was like, I ain't opening the window.
Nah, but I mean, like with the self-driving cars, like I'm all for that. Like today's you know, situation with traffic and everything like that. Because if everybody took the emotion out of driving, we wouldn't have traffic. And that's the algorithm right there.
Yeah, that's true.
So if everybody had a self-driving car, everybody be more productive. Everybody's, you know, well-being, quality of life would be better. You know, and if it's all electric, you know, less impact on the environment.
Sure.
We just gotta get this infrastructure squared away. We can't have bridges collapsing and stuff like that. That's scary too. But
yeah, that new infrastructure
you would think.
In place.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of how much you could like a self-driving minivan would be like the dopest car ever.
Oh,
like
yeah.
how much space you had, like you could sit there and do your work on the way to work. Like you could just live. Like, I don't even care if I live 2 hours away. I know exactly when I'm gonna get to work. Like the most efficient thing, and I'm gonna sleep on the way there anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
But Elon putting these little Neuralinks in your head so you can That's scary too, man. Imagine your whole body getting hacked.
Right.
Like somebody just took control of me and I gotta go get pizza. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine? Like the crazy things people would do.
But that was the first thing I thought of. Like when you're talking about going to a restaurant, they won't get it wrong. They won't get it wrong.
I mean, if they took control of your body and like robbed a bank or something,
Yeah.
like, I wasn't thinking like, all right, then they made me go get some Domino's. Like, like that wouldn't be that bad. But nah, like my thing is like they wouldn't even need to hack it. If just imagine like if every baby that's born, we don't know what's really going on. You know what I mean? Like just pop a chip
That's
in.
another episode right there, man. Every shot we get, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
For all we know, we could be programmed. There's a reason why we're together on this podcast. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
Well, there was a movie called The Matrix.
Yeah,
We could be plugged in right now.
we could.
Oh boy.
Man, y'all talk about these. I'm still waiting for, and I know they say it's out there somewhere, and I want it. Like, what's the one movie when the dude he takes the pill and gets super smart? Like he gets so smart he could like
Limitless.
slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Limitless.
but was it not Bradley Cooper? It was Bradley Cooper, right?
Hey, Bradley Cooper. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, dude. That's where it's at. Let me. I want one. I want one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to unlock all my potential. Okay, like
There's no decision, just hand it over.
yes. That put me on. They say that kind of stuff is out there. I mean, like not limitless, but like that helps. And it's probably super pricey and all that, but who knows? I'm sure it's out there.
It's a high milligram Adderall. Like that. Like the whole time I was watching the movie, I was like, "Yep, that. Like I want this so bad." Because it's like in the college days, I don't have anybody that's selling Adderall at 30. It's fine, but like we were in college, everybody had it. Like all the kids during finals week and stuff. And it's like you take the Adderall, anything that you were thinking about studying, you're so locked into it. Like I was like right before like my women's studies final that not because it's a women's class, I just didn't go to the class because they didn't have attendance and there was only three tests the whole time. So I just studied like that. But I had all of my chapters to read the night before the test, and I took Adderall. And I wrote like a 4-page essay. I only needed 1 page, but I was so into it. And I couldn't tell you one thing that I learned from that, but it was like it felt like that limitless pill. As soon as I watched that movie, I was like, all right, but you ain't learning karate and stuff like that. As soon as he was doing it.
I tried Adderall before. I mean, the only thing I felt that was limitless was how much I could talk. Like, like that. But otherwise, man, I don't think it. I think you really have to I think you have to have the proper, I don't know, I want to say condition, if you will, to, because otherwise I don't like it. I don't know. Like, again, it wasn't Adderall. It was like a generic. So maybe I need the actual Adderall. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But yeah, but I try, and I'm like, man, I'm getting sweaty and talking a whole bit, and but other, so yeah. So but yeah, shout out to the people that could take that and it really does what it needs to, to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like so many people in college is like, well, I don't like taking it because it doesn't make me feel like myself. Like because without taking it, you're bouncing off the walls. Like you feel like yourself, but you're yelling and running around with way too much energy. But the regular person, not the regular person, a person that doesn't have like ADHD or anything, when you take it, it's a different response to it.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately, like you get that energy and stuff like that. But yeah, like if you get focused on talking to somebody, then you're actually paying attention to everything they're talking about, and you've been talking to them for 3 hours now, and you ain't getting it done. The whole house is gonna be spotless, but
Heiser, if you're listening to it, it's like, nah.
Bro, man.
yes, we're not promoting.
Nah,
No, right.
Unless you absolutely need to take Adderall, do not take it. But
Right. Exactly.
Although If there's any manufacturers out there, we got time for some plugs. We got time.
See people just start hitting your DMs. Like I heard you say, people in 30, you need some? Like
I no lie though, but check your feeds over the next couple of days and see if you see
I'm telling you,
prescription drug ads.
For real, you be different. I'm saying.
AstraZeneca is gonna be all over my timeline.
Yeah, fellas.
I put on this Bradford shirt, and then Brandon don't even show up to the meeting.
Yo, for real, we gonna have to get on the homie, but
Yeah. Hey, Phil, on that shirt, is that the same font that's on the breads, the 11s? Or is it that just
I didn't even
a
think about
coincidence?
that. If it is, it's not purposeful. Now, I think on the bread levels it's probably taller, but yeah, I didn't even think about that. It does look like that. It's a little more separated. There's no trademark infringement.
It's a font.
It was dope when you guys seen those. Yeah,
have you already showed it off yet? Did you put it up in the camera yet?
I'm wearing it. I don't know. There's lifestyle.
I got you.